A Search in Vedic India, Chapter 20, Jeevan Muktha. That morning, after breakfast, Albert and Vimala slowly walked towards Godavari Bend and sat under the shade of coconut trees. Insofar as Albert is concerned, the purpose of the visit was accomplished, thought Vimala. Since Swami suggested that she could take the help of Albert in continuing the self-inquiry, she decided to make preparations to go back to Prem Swarup Ashram. Though Swami explained that the grace of Parashakti only would enable her to recognize Swarupam, she wondered whether Albert could not transfer that knowledge to her. She asked him the same thing. Very good question, Vimala, said Albert. You could become a guru. You commented just like Swami, remarked Vimala with a laugh. Albert laughed aloud and said, Before answering the question, I have to tell you something related. When I met Swami and Prem Swarup, I got a doubt. When so many people are questioning them on spiritual matters, why they answer them with so much patience? The bliss one experiences after recognizing Swarupam cannot be described in words. Such people would like to share the same with as many people as possible. But it is very difficult for the seekers to reach the stage of serious seeking to recognize Swarupam. So, if anybody approaches with questions indicating their eagerness, they are ready to go to any length to help the seeker. That is why Swami was happy when certain questions were asked. Now let us come to your question. You are asking whether Guru could hand over or offer truth enabling the disciple to realize the truth. No, it is not possible even for the Guru to hand over it like a product. With the guidance of Guru, the seeker must recognize the truth himself. You have also asked what should be done or what should happen for one to recognize the truth. If you closely follow and apply what I am telling you now, you will not only understand but also will be free from ignorance. First, notice that you exist. In front of you, I exist. Those trees, the river, the hills, all exist. And also the space in between exists. That means the existence you are feeling is not limited to your body. The existence you are feeling is all pervasive and not limited. Now observe each of them. The trees exist and you are aware of them. River exists and you are aware of the river. Hills exist and you are aware of the hills. Space exists and you are aware of the space. If you are aware of all of them, it is implied that your awareness covered all of them. Existence and awareness being both formless are not limited to your body and all pervasive without any break. You just recognize that both your existence and awareness are not limited. Now you recognize that all those objects are fully covered by the existence and awareness which is their substance. As against that, when you are aware of them as a thought, eyes closed or not, if you pay only attention to their form, ignoring the substance, you may be attached to pleasure or pain from their availability or non-availability. If you recognize that they are nothing but awareness, you may still interact with them, but you will be equanimous to their availability or non-availability. The whole world appears to you only through thought, and if you recognize that thought is nothing but awareness in substance, you are free. The only thing is that this fact must come to your mind when you are interacting with anything in the world. Your recognition is supposed to be direct and complete only when you remember this at all times. So seriously contemplate on this as much time as possible. You have to feel it intuitively. There is no action involved and nothing happens afresh. Just a shift and you will feel established in the expansive awareness as it has no form. It may happen at any time due to the grace of Parashakti, explained Albert. You said that Guru could not transfer or hand over it. But what is the extent of Guru's role? Asked Vimala. Though it is you that has to recognize, we could say that the Guru's role is 90% and the seeker's role is 10%, while the whole process is 100% grace of Parashakti, said Albert. Probably more elaboration is required, said Vimala. Getting a thought to seek knowledge and the availability of a Guru, are they at your initiative? We already understood that in our acceptance theory that you are not the doer. That means the whole process is a prompting of Parashakti. That setting aside, Guru declaring that the I awareness which you are feeling as yours and the infinite awareness that exists always are the same is important. Wow, the Guru's assertion that you are always close to it is excellent inspiration. While it is only one part, Guru's confirmation whether your recognition is correct or not is another part. I think you remember what he said when I mentioned that my recognition of expansive awareness. His declaration that there was no need for further effort as things would unfold on their own was very significant. It worked as a small detergent to a lot of dirt. A real Guru is one who directly experienced the truth, though the word experienced is not correct. Awareness is not an experience like in worldly matters. Persons who deliver lectures from religious scriptures are not gurus. They want you to believe in God without themselves realizing God. I do not know about India, but I have not come across anybody who has a direct understanding of the truth. There are many who preach from the Bible with delivery skills but not with the direct understanding of God, said Albert. Now that you recognize that infinite awareness, could you give any characteristics that could be understood by my mind, although it is said that it is difficult to put it in words? Asked Vimala. Scriptures use some words to describe Brahman, the infinite consciousness. It is Nityam, one that exists always, Suddham, one that is always pure, that is, you cannot smear it with colors or add any impurities. Muktam, one that is always free without any limits of beginning and end. And Buddham, one that is with awareness, said Albert. Being infinite, an example is not possible, I think, remarked Vimala. To comprehend to some extent, imagine space. In the relative world, space always exists. It is always pure. It is limitless. But one major difference is that space is not aware of itself. Brahman is like infinite space with awareness. It is thick, infinite awareness and nothing else. It is inseparable, infinite existence and consciousness, explained Albert. How is your feeling after recognizing Swarupam? Is there any difference between your experience before and after recognition? Asked Vimala. Before recognition, whatever you are feeling now, it is the same for me. After recognition also, I carry out all worldly transactions just as you perform. But there is no feeling that there is a separate individual. That does not mean that there is a self-declaration to that effect always. It is just an internalized feeling. However, if anybody calls me by name, I respond. Ego remains for transactions, explained Albert. Is there any other special feeling? Asked Vimala again. It is very difficult to explain to you. It cannot be put in words. Imagine pure infinite awareness without any space and time as it is an objectless awareness. You could only intuitively feel it. It is beyond mind. When I am with myself without engagement in worldly transactions, I am always in a strange feeling of elation as if I am floating without individuality in the infinite ocean of bliss. If you have to understand that, I must tell you about a picture I have seen in Krishnananda Mutt. In the hall where he gave the interview to us, there is a big picture of Lord Vishnu reclining on a big snake in an ocean of milk. Ramachari told me that it was the picture of Lord Vishnu. I did not know then that the state of a person who recognized the self would be similar to that. After experiencing the state described to you, I could understand the significance of that picture. It is nothing but a portrayal of one who finds himself in an infinite ocean of bliss, said Alfred, feeling the same ecstasy. So it is not comparable with any pleasure from senses which we enjoy in the transactional world, asked Vimala. It is something that arises when you do not have any fear of losing or gaining from anything in the world, and when past and future do not cause any worry. Probably words cannot express the same, said Albert. I am wondering how it would be like when the objects and you are the same, remarked Vimala. If the TV screen is your awareness, it covers all the pictures on the screen. All the pictures are neither separate nor away from the screen. All the objects you see in the world are like pictures on the screen of your awareness. They are in awareness and awareness is in all of them. Initially, I have not understood a verse from Bhagavad Gita, but with this analysis, I understood it fully. What is that verse? Asked Vimala. Sarvabhutastam Atmanam Sarvabhutani Chatmani. It means I am in all the great elements and all the great elements are in me, explained Albert. Albert again said, you have to notice one thing. I always wonder whenever it comes to my mind. Although there is no change at any time in eye awareness, as many covers are added over that, it has been pushed into background. Forgetting its existence, one is involved in the pleasures and pains of the transactional world. Unless one removes all those covers, one would not be able to recognize Swarupam. I am just describing what we know already from a different angle. All those covers are not there, but we are in the belief that those appearances are true. In twilight, when you see a rope, you may mistake it to be a snake and suffer all the fears and do all the actions that follow them when you see a real snake. But there is no snake there. He stopped and asked her, are you following? What are these covers? You may have to elaborate with examples, asked Vimala. To drive the point home, I have to tell you a story. A shepherd used to go into the forest every day with his animals for grazing. One day he could not return before sunset as he could not gather all the cattle in time. He had to stay in the forest overnight. As he was searching for a shelter to the cattle, he found the hermitage of a sage with some place for the cattle. He requested permission from the sage, which the sage readily granted. As the shepherd entered the cattle shed to house the animals, he remembered that he had no special threads with which he daily ties the animals in his shed. He rushed back to the sage for help. The sage asked him what he would do daily to tie each animal. The shepherd explained that he would first put the special thread around the neck of each animal and join the thread to a hook on the wall. The sage suggested that he should do the same now, mimicking the ritual as if he has the real thread with him. The shepherd followed the advice, and the animals remained in the shed as if they were tied down. But the next morning, the shepherd faced another problem as the animals did not move from their place as he tried to take them out. When approached again, the sage suggested that he should mimic again as if he was removing the threads from each animal and unhook the threads. The problem was solved. There is a great secret in this story. All the actions which we have been doing since our childhood were nothing but thoughts in our eye awareness. Whatever action we do, there is no actual change in eye awareness and nothing ever happened. I was born in so and so year is like the mimic of the shepherd without actually doing anything. It is nothing but a cover you added to your eye awareness without any actual change. Similarly, you added many covers like I am a woman, I am a son, I am a father, I am a wife, I am tall, I am short, My degrees are so and so. I am a Hindu. I am an American. I am black. I am white. With these covers, you are lost in the transactional world and go on with pleasures and pains therefrom. Till then, she is just any lady in the world. When you tie the knot around her neck, she becomes a wife. And where is the change in the awareness except as a thought, which is not a change at all? You interact with the world of forms and their functions, but all those forms and functions are nothing but awareness. The substance of all those forms is awareness. If you pay attention only to form and not to the substance, you are steeped in ignorance, explained Albert. So, all forms are nothing but awareness, remarked Vimala. Forms are not separate from their substance awareness. You will understand it better if I give you an example. Suppose there is a carpet spread on the floor. Some forms are formed due to folds on the carpet. Though a form is visible at the fold, it is all along carpet only and not different from it. Similarly, all the forms you see in the world are nothing but apparent folds of awareness. Here, world means not just the outside world, but includes all the mental forms in the mind also are nothing but apparent folds of awareness, explained Albert. Why should awareness fold into forms? Why there should be forms in the world? Asked Vimala. You should not forget one thing. Awareness is not turning into forms but only appearing in forms without actually changing. That is the difference between an example and reality. Folds on the carpet are not only appearing, but folds are happening there. But in the case of awareness, forms do not happen. It is only an apparent change, not actual. Now you are looking at me and you are experiencing my presence. But does any fold is forming in your awareness? Before seeing my form and while seeing my form, it is just awareness. No change at all. This is your direct understanding without any belief, said Albert. Okay, understood. But why should awareness appear in folds, even apparently? Why should awareness appear as a world without actually changing? Asked Vimala. That means you are asking why should folds form in the carpet? It is the inherent nature of the carpet to form into folds. There would not be any reason for inherent nature. Heat is the inherent nature of the fire. Suppose instead of a carpet, you spread a wooden plank on the floor. Would there be folds in the wooden plank? Similarly, because of the inherent nature of Sat or Maya aspect of Brahman, forms appear without any change, explained Albert. So, we are getting entangled in pleasures and pains from worldly transactions all through life, as we are believing all objects and forms are real, said Vimala. Why only this life? If you believe in reincarnation, it may continue to happen in millions of lives till self is recognized, said Albert. Extending your covers or awareness theory, patriotism and love towards one's country is also due to ignorance? Asked Vimala. We are not discussing the right or wrongs of worldly transactions. We have to think only how far they are helpful for our recognition of Swarupam. Right and wrongs that happen in dimensions of time and space are not fixed. The patriotism of people in undivided India before the partition of Pakistan is different from the patriotism of people after the partition. What is wrong at one time may be right at another time. Without going into them, we should give importance to the recognition of Swarupam. Time and space are part of Maya. Where are time and space in your deep sleep? Explained Albert. Then how to live in the world with all those covers on awareness? Asked Vimala. Hope you remember our acceptance theory or Sharanagati. Events happen, deeds are done, but there is no individual doer. If one believes the concept 100%, one could come out of any adverse effect or worldly transactions very quickly. Even in Advaita, when we know that all that exists is awareness, this ignorance of so many covers are only due to Sat aspect of Brahman without undergoing any change in itself, said Albert. Okay, all the ignorance is due to the power of Brahman only. In such a case, how to recognize Swarupam, overcoming ignorance? Asked Vimala. In the removal of ignorance, no action is involved, and due to the prompting of same Sat, investigation into I awareness would lead one to recognize Swarupam. In the acceptance theory, the individual gets thought from an unknown source which cannot be traced, while in Advaita, thought is the apparent manifestation of Sat. In both, there is no individual doer. Any effort to remove ignorance is not direct, as an investigation into awareness would operate on the removal of ignorance also. When you started a journey to Bangalore, your movement towards Bangalore would automatically move you away from Kaleshwaram. For that, no separate effort is needed, said Albert. It seems that the lecture cassettes given by Swami have helped you significantly, remarked Vimala. All those lectures are on Prasthanatrayam, the trinity to reach goal. Those three are Upanishads, Brahma Sutras, and Bhagavad Gita. Besides, there are lectures on Yoga Vasishta, Tripura Rahasyam, and Vedanta Panchadasi of Sri Vidyaranya, etc. They not only confirmed the truth I recognized, but gave excellent examples that help me to explain the concepts to the seekers. Since consciousness is infinite, there cannot be an exact example 100% suitable. But there are many statements which enhance and confirm your understanding of the whole concept of Advaita worth remembering. They returned to the guest house for lunch.